Welcome back to the Essentially You podcast, all about reinventing your health with safer, cheaper, more effective natural solutions and powerful lifestyle changes so that you become the CEO of your health. I am your host, Dr. Mariza Snyder. Today's episode is all about revving up your sex drive with essential oils and 5 tips to fire up your desire, your libido, and help you feel like your sexy self again. And to set you up for success in this area, I also created a very special cheat sheet just for you, containing my hottest libido-boosting essential oil massage blends. These blends are delectable. I know you're going to love them as much as I do. And it's the perfect way to spice up your love life. Now you can grab this fun libido boosting cheat sheet by going into the show notes at drmariza.com/episode 37 or drmariza.com/podcast. And that would be the episode that is newly up today. Now, if your idea of a hot Friday night is slipping into your comfies and falling asleep in front of the TV, well, we need to talk about your sex drive. I know you've got a million things on your to-do list. I'm actually looking at my to-do list where it's sitting here next to me as we speak. But that doesn't mean that you should miss out on one of life's greatest pleasures. And yet I hear it all the time. It's not just a matter of having enough time for a roll in the hay. It's about having the desire to do it. Having ups and downs in your libido is, after all, just a part of being human. Plus, there are a bunch of ways to support your libido by naturally addressing hormonal imbalances of various types. As a functional medicine expert who specializes in hormone health, I am here to tell you that you can reclaim your sexy by incorporating some simple lifestyle changes with the aid of aromatherapy. And you can have fun doing it. But before I jump into my 5 solutions, let's talk about the potential root cause for low libido. In my experience, the path to sexual energy is challenging for many women. Growing priorities and hormone changes lead to fatigue, overwhelm, and low libido. Very often, it seems like finding your libido will take more effort and energy than you have to give. I remember when I was younger, I want to say I was in my mid-20s, and I was sitting with a group of women. There must have been about 40 of us, and we were in a circle. And we were just kind of having a conversation. It was like this group conversation. We were all a part of this big event. And someone asked, what would you choose between cheese and having an orgasm? And every person went around of this group answered the question. Either it was they would much rather have cheese than have an orgasm. And it wasn't have sex. It was actually have an orgasm. And I was blown away. I think I was in my mid-20s at the time by how many women, married with kids, name it, all different types, all different shapes, all different ages. I would say at least 60% or more, maybe 75% of the women in that circle chose cheese. And it was such an interesting moment for me. I don't think that that would be the case. And I'd love to know, what would you choose? Would it be cheese? Would it be orgasms? Now, you can't have both. You can't have cheese with orgasm. So I was just curious. I'll never forget that day because it was a real eye-opening experience. At the time, I was working at a women's health clinic, and it just getting the insight into these women was really, really interesting. So, as you may know, there are many things that can affect your sex drive. Medications, alcohol, smoking, health conditions such as thyroid problems, and adrenal fatigue, just to name a few. Hormonal imbalances are another culprit. Low testosterone levels or estrogen dominance can greatly reduce your libido. And did you know that many oral contraceptives, so basically the pill, can cause a decrease in testosterone? Not only that, but the pill has been linked to lowering libido levels. Birth control not only lowers your sex drive, but it also can create a lot of other health complications such as anxiety, weight gain, and mood swings. So if indeed, everyone gets to choose in and out of birth control, but it's always something to consider. If you do find that the symptoms greatly outweigh the benefit, then it may be worth checking something else out. And there's a lot of other solutions around that. Now, while we generally think of testosterone as a male hormone, we know that this hormone also plays a major role in a woman's sex drive as well. Many of these culprits are things that we have oftentimes limited control over without the help and guidance of a healthcare practitioner. So I do want to emphasize, if you are struggling with hormone issues and hormone imbalances, it's always important to see what's going on and then to get some guidance around that. It can be really hard to do a self-diagnosis. Not to say that you can't begin to implement some really great changes, and we're going to talk about some of those today, but I always do want to recommend, getting a full workup, seeing what's going on with the labs, and really getting some guidance around how you can begin to mitigate and support your hormones along with these lifestyle changes that we're going to be talking about. And as I mentioned, luckily, there's a lot of things that we have control over. Things like stress and lack of sleep, poor diet, exercise habits, all have a tremendous impact on our libido. And we can absolutely do something about those. And let me tell you, oftentimes stress, lack of sleep, and poor diet play a major role in our body's ability to kind of rev things up. So let's focus on the first real solution that I want to bring to you today, and that is how we combat stress, how we rectify stress. So when you are stressed, your body's sympathetic nervous system is activated because your body perceives that it's in a very potential dangerous situation. I call it stranger danger. The limbic brain and the HPA axis is sending messages to the adrenals saying, oh my gosh, there's an emergency. We need you to release a lot of cortisol and epinephrine stat. And these hormones prepare you for, again, emergency, fight or flight. Like you are ready to go and sprint out of there. In addition, more blood and oxygen are directed to your heart, your lungs, your muscles, even your eyes become more clear. You can see more sharply to assist in that moment if you've got to fight or flee. Bodily systems that are not essential for your survival are temporarily put into sleep mode, so to speak. So this is your digestive and reproductive systems. And these are oftentimes running best in our rest and digest mode, our parasympathetic mode. Therefore, they are not functioning at their optimal levels during a crisis situation. And if you're like most women, we've got a lot on our plate. My best friend, Candace, always talks about those clutch the pearls moment, where you're like, oh, clutch the pearls. Like, oh my God, I'm late for a meeting. Or, oh my goodness, I just got this text message. Or, oh my goodness, I forgot something. Clutch the pearls, clutch the pearls. And it's just constantly we're sending messages to the brain that, oh my goodness, there's a tiger coming at me. What do I do? And you find yourself in this fight or flight mode. And the thing of it is that over time, these little missteps, these little clutch the pearls moment that happen consistently throughout our day suppresses our body's normal reproductive function, altering hormone levels and hence altering or just sending our libido into the crapper. The good news is that we have a couple of simple recipes and rituals that I want to recommend that can both get you in the mood and also address some of the factors like stress and fatigue that are known to be libido crushers. In addition, making sure that you're getting enough sleep, you're eating a whole foods balanced diet with lots of green leafy vegetables and the color of the rainbow and healthy fats and lean, clean protein. And then also I love recommending yoga and essential oils to your weekly rituals. Now, yoga is going to play a role in just a moment, so I'm going to get back to yoga. So by accessing the limbic brain through smell, what I love about essential oils is they have a profound effect on our stress and our hormones. As you know, we've talked a lot about this in previous episodes. Essential oils have a way of literally deregulating your cortisol and ensuring that it gets back to balance. So I mean, sometimes your cortisol is upregulated. We want to downregulate it a bit, and that's what oils can do. Now, Dr. Naresh Arora explains the essential oils do magic and stimulate the pituitary gland, the master of the endocrine gland system, which controls your hormone production. Inactiveness of the pituitary gland can lead to low sex drive. So the oils keep it in an active state. Essential oils and sensuality go hand in hand, and essential oils can increase interest and enjoyment of sex and intimacy. Well, I have to agree with everything she said there. Now, some of my favorite essential oils to reduce stress while simultaneously boosting libido with aphrodisiac magic are these three players right here. They are ylang-ylang, geranium, and jasmine. Now, if you've ever heard of me talking about my mom, I have the most beautiful, lovely, just powerhouse of a mom. She is also obsessed with essential oils and she loves them for sensual purposes. I'm not going to go into any more detail, but she is obsessed with ylang-ylang and she has this statement that she makes all the time. And she always says, put ylang-ylang on your ylang-ylang. Now, I'm not going to say put it directly on unless you want to highly, highly dilute it, but you can put it on your thighs. You can rub it as a massage. So I always like to say, I kind of modify my mom's statement. I always say, put ylang-ylang on for your ylang-ylang, right? Kind of getting things fired up. And anyway, it's just a fun thing to share. Now, what you can do with these 3 oils, ylang-ylang, geranium, and jasmine, which by the way, are all super women, gorgeous sensual oils. You know, I'm personally obsessed with all of them, but most specifically jasmine essential oil. Oh, I wear it every single day. I love it. And what's so great about these oils is you can diffuse them individually or you can combine them together, which I highly recommend. And they can not only relax pent up and anxious emotions, right? Because these oils are really designed for emotional well-being. They're heart-centered oils. They are great for anxiousness and depression. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to these oils, and they can really charge up that intimate energy. Now, one of my favorite tricks is to add 10 to 15 drops to a 2-ounce spray bottle of water and spritz your bedding or your lingerie so it mingles with your natural pheromones. Adding essential oils to an Epsom salt bath, especially these 3 that I just mentioned, and taking a relaxing soak either solo or with your partner will also really help you to unwind and most importantly, get present in the moment, right? Our minds are so often racing to the next thing, to the next morning, to the next to-do list, especially at night where, I mean, clearly you can get down whenever you want, but evenings tend to be the time where we're supposed to wind down and really just get present with our partner, whomever they may be, and just be able to just connect and even cuddle, right? We think about cuddling. I think of oxytocin, which is just the most beautiful cuddle puddle hormone that we can use. And it just really helps to support us as women as well. So you can then, after you take that bath with your oils, you can follow it up with an intimate massage by incorporating essential oil massage blend with 1 teaspoon of carrier oil. And you've really got the perfect foreplay for an exciting evening. Now, as I mentioned earlier, now that I've set the mood, you're going to want to grab my libido boosting massage blend recipe cheat sheet in the show notes. I've got the most delectable recipes that you are going to want to make, you're going to want to use, and you're really going to want to experience. And I just last little essential oil remedy I wanted to just mention, don't forget the power of lavender, because when you combine lavender with any of these oils, geranium, ylang-ylang, bergamot, jasmine, you really are creating an environment for anti-stress support. So it'll literally shut that stress down and support you in that way. Now, there is a quick little recipe I want to share with you. I know we talked about that little spritz, but this is a spritz that I love. I call it the romantic flower spritz. And again, you want a 2-ounce little spritz bottle. You can buy them anywhere. And in that little bottle, you can fill it up with witch hazel or distilled water, even a tiny bit of isopropanol alcohol, rubbing alcohol, just to kind of make sure that the oils mix in. And it's 6 drops of sandalwood, 4 drops of ylang-ylang, 3 drops of geranium, and 3 drops of jasmine. And you just mix that up and just spritz it, on the bedding. You can spritz it in the air. It's just really lovely. It's like the ultimate aphrodisiac spritz. And those are just some things to think of. Number 2 is yoga. Now, the reason why I'm focusing on yoga is it's such a great form of exercise, and it has been shown to help relax the body, reduce stress, and help prepare the body for deep, restful sleep. Now, I recognize that we're not talking just about deep, restful sleep today. We're talking about what goes down before the sleep. But yoga is one of the best ways to really get very present with your body. And there are definitely some poses that can really help to create more intimacy. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to just share a couple of poses. And what's so great about these poses is, clearly you can go to a yoga class or you can do these poses in your own home, especially if you know them already. So here are the ones that I want you to consider. They're fairly easy to do, and they are great for stretching your muscles. And I don't know about you, but I need as much stretching assistance as I can get. So the pigeon pose, I honestly call the pigeon pose the torture pose, only because I have a really, really tight psoas. So the pigeon pose is great. I love to hate it or hate to love it, whichever one you want to choose. The bridge pose, downward dog, bound angle pose, the cobra pose, cat and cow, and the eagle pose. As you hold each of these poses for about 15 seconds, focus on your breath. I mean, they always tell you to do that, but breathing out just kind of clears that energy. So taking deep cleansing belly breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, draw your belly button towards your spine and exhale. And I promise you, you will literally feel your stress levels decrease. You'll feel more present. You will feel more connected, and you will feel more geared up for a fun time. The number 3 tip that I'm bringing to you today is all about the emotional connection. See, we all build up a lot of emotional walls when it comes to our intimacy, or even emotional walls that impact our intimacy. And I want to talk a little bit about how to unlock those. So regardless of your stress quotient, our emotional situation can often cause inhibitions when it comes to intimacy. So with or without you dealing with stress, emotions are still at play. Fear associated with how we look, past experiences, ability, or a number of other factors can prevent our minds and therefore our bodies from getting into the mood. While many emotional factors can be alleviated with essential oils, emotional distress associated with abuse can definitely be a serious issue. And I always want to invite you to seek professional counsel and advice in those moments. So many of us as women have been abused physically or emotionally. I have had my own abuse scenarios, and I know it can be really hard. It can really close you off to the people that matter to you most. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, if you are having the need to release some of these emotional blocks, I love essential oils for this as well. I probably use essential oils for emotional and stress support more than anything else. Although I'll be honest with you, I use a lot of them. But when it comes to my emergency oils, it's oftentimes for emotional well-being. I mean, they can just crack you open in such a beautiful way. So here are some of my emotional oils that I love to kind of let your emotional guard down, to make it feel safer for you, to let go of any of that shame or concern or worry or fear that you may be harboring, and really opening yourself up to the possibility of deserving pleasure, of getting your body in a place that you deserve to be loved. So the oils that I love, personally is neroli, bergamot, lavender, and ylang-ylang. These are some of my favorite essential oils to use for calming and for creating a sensual sensation. Neroli has been demonstrated to help women balance hormones as well as calm the mind and body, while bergamot proves to be very effective in helping you claim your self-worth. So bergamot is the oil of self-worth and self-acceptance, but it's also great at reducing anxiety and inhibition, probably because you're really owning yourself at that moment. So I have a mood-boosting diffuser blend that I want to share with you that I think you're just going to absolutely love. This blend contains a citrus, which has monoterpenes in it, but also has lavender, sandalwood, and ylang-ylang, and a little bit of jasmine. And again, you can play with these blends and create whatever you like. Tune into what really works for you. But this diffuser blend is 2 drops of neroli, 2 drops of lavender, 1 drop of sandalwood. Wow, such a powerful oil with those beautiful sequiterpenes. It's just wonderful for calming the mind. 1 drop of ylang-ylang and 1 drop of jasmine. All you're going to do is just add these oils to your diffuser. And again, jasmine is optional. I know it's a more pricier oil, but it is such a beautiful oil if you can get your hands on it. And I highly recommend diffusing this really anytime that you need some emotional support. Anytime during the day, all the time during the day. And then again, a lot of these oils, neroli, sandalwood, ylang-ylang, and jasmine, are all very sensual essential oils. So I was very mindful when I created this blend for you. Number 4, I want to talk a little bit about the tips and tricks around hormones, because let's be honest, This is what this podcast is about. Hormones getting out of whack and how we can get them back on track. So herbs can be a big player here, and mostly talking about herbs in the form of essential oils as well. So clary sage, if you haven't heard me talk about clary sage, go to my Instagram account at Dr. Mariza because I talk about clary sage a lot there. I even have a lot of clary sage stories. Clary sage is like the magical hormone oil out there. And it is my go-to oil for getting hormones back in check. You can even use it at particular times during the month to ease PMS symptoms by applying it over the ovaries and the abdominal area. Like you literally give yourself a clary sage massage in the lower abdominal area because you deserve it, and it is wonderful for your muscles, and it helps to quell those cramps as well. Now, when it comes to libido, just know that balancing hormones really rely on a lot more than one oil. I bet you're not surprised. Even if you eat well, exercise, practice self-care, it still just might not be enough to regulate your hormones if stress continues to dominate your world. That said, clary sage is a girl's best friend. While helping to balance estrogen and progesterone, it can also have the ability to decrease cortisol levels in the body, a major hormone player in libido zapping stress, as we mentioned earlier. Simply inhaling clary sage will lower cortisol levels and help in the regulation of those female reproductive hormones, right? The progesterone, the estrogen, even the oxytocin. To increase the power of clary sage, pair it with other calming and aphrodisiac-like oils. For instance, geranium, jasmine are also wonderful. We talked about them earlier. And I wanted to share with you a hormone synergy blend that I have been using for many years now with phenomenal results. And this is in a roller bottle. So I don't know about you, but I am the queen of rollers because they're so easy to use. They're easy to take on the go, and they're just magical. I love roller ball blends. So this hormone synergy blend in a 10 ml roller bottle is 10 drops of clary sage because it is the queen, and it is the first oil to go in. 8 drops of lavender, 8 drops of geranium, 4 drops of bergamot, and 4 drops of ylang-ylang. And you would just top this off with fractionated coconut oil or sweet almond oil or whatever carrier oil you prefer. And what I recommend is using this blend daily because daily usage is so key when it comes to these powerful lifestyle changes and these wonderful therapeutic properties. So roll over your pulse points, so your ankles, your neck, your wrists. You can also right over the ovaries about 3 inches below the belly button. And I recommend a couple times a day to increase libido and create hormone synergy. Now, lastly, I've got number 5, and it is all about chocolate. I want you to nibble on some chocolate. Now, I know that sex may seem like a chore sometimes, but I'm pretty sure you'd agree that I'm pretty sure you're going to agree to eating a piece of chocolate without too much convincing. Chocolate is considered an aphrodisiac for 2 good reasons: phenylethylamine and tryptophan. Now, phenylethylamine is the same compound that is released in the brain when people fall in love. And tryptophan is a precursor to serotonin, the brain chemical associated with happy moods as well as sexual arousal. Together, phenylethylamine and tryptophan make chocolate the ideal recipe for love. Now, if you have been struggling with your low libido, I hope that you give these tricks a try. And honestly, I recommend you trying more than one. One, helping to reduce your stress levels. Try out some yoga poses or add yoga into your life. Eat some more chocolate. Yep, you're getting permission. Just make sure it's dark chocolate because you want to lower the sugar. Sugar is not your friend when it comes to boosting libido, as much as we'd like to think it is. Get some massage oil blends going and really focus on that emotional well-being. Those are all major components for creating intimacy. And then just carving out time. You know, I know it's not super sexy, but it's worth scheduling out time for intimacy. Even if you have to get it on the calendar. I don't know about you, but if it's not on the calendar, it ain't happening. So making time to spend with your partner is just so key. I wanted to just make sure that you had that in your calendar, had that scheduled. And while you're at it, schedule that self-care, schedule these lifestyle recommendations that I'm giving you today, schedule loving yourself by supporting yourself with all of these wonderful habits like great sleep, self-care, eating well, using your oils, going to a yoga class, taking a hike in nature. And all of these things are just ways to love yourself and just setting the tone for living that best life. So now that I've given you a taste into the world of sensual essential oils and rituals, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I did create a special cheat sheet just for you containing my hottest libido boosting essential oil massage blends. Really, these blends are the perfect way to use the power of sensual essential oils to create intimacy and to rev up your sex drive. And what's so great about them is that, as you know, these blends are so easy to make. How you can grab this beautiful libido boosting massage blend cheat sheet is just heading to the show notes at drmariza.com/episode 37 or going to drmariza.com/podcast, and you will see it as the newest episode 37. Well, coming up in the next episode, I am going to be interviewing this amazing woman, Misty Williams. She is the creator of the Fix for Female Hormone Summit, and I am super grateful to be a presenter on this powerful summit dedicated to women's hormone health. Now, if you want to be your own health advocate, I want to encourage you to register for the Fix Female Hormones for free and learn how to regain energy, recharge your brain, and overcome illness to get your body back. The link for this amazing summit, the Fix for Female Hormones, will be also found in the show notes. Well, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode as we really get to hear Misty Williams' story about becoming the advocate for herself and what it looks like to really be on that journey towards hormone balance. Until the next episode, I look forward to seeing you again and have a beautiful week.